every little thing is gonna be alright. That's right. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the annual meeting. So the process is a little bit cumbersome, but I really need your help, and pay attention for a few seconds. Peggy here is signing people in because by our bylaws, people who are active members can vote. If you haven't signed an active member form, you can do it right now. But please, if you can come towards Peggy, as you check your name, you will receive a ballot to vote today. And thank you for your patience and understanding with this process. Roger, wanna keep singing? Wanna keep singing so that same.
Woke up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds, each by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody's pure and true, saying, this is our message to you. Sing it with me. I don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry, Mom. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Think of the lilies that sway in the summer sun. They neither toil nor do they labor. They've got a glory greater than Solomon. And the saying, this is a message to you. I don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. So don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry.
Don't you worry.
Don't worry about a thing.
About a thing.
'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Sing it, Karina. Every little
thing is gonna be alright.
Every little thing now.
Every little thing is gonna be alright.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I've laid my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I've laid my burden down, I feel happy, so very happy. Since I laid my burden down, I feel happy, so very happy. Since I laid my burden down. Glory, 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 hallelujah. Since I've laid my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down, I feel better, so much better, since I laid my burden down. I feel better, so much better, since I laid my burden down. Glory, 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 hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. On a cold and cloudy day, saw her since it carried my little circle. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home away in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
So, how are we doing? Does everybody have a ballot by now? All right, I think we're ready to start the meeting. Maybe a little bit more weight. Pretty close. So, we would like to start the meeting as usual with an opening prayer.
So, just take a moment to settle and breathe and relax into the stillness. Allow the stillness to envelop you, to enfold you. Allow the arms of God, the arms of the beloved to encircle you. And know that in this moment, all is well. Peace is our birthright, as is joy, as is prosperity. And in this moment, this raggle-taggle crowd gathers. And we honor the presence of the divine in each one of us gathered here. We honor the presence of the divine in those 4 who have agreed, who have said yes to be nominees and to serve us. We honor the divine in those who have been on the board for a bit and maybe coming off today, and those who are staying on. And we see all of it as good and right and purposeful and holy. And we give thanks to you, Mother, Father, God, for the truth that is here today, the truth that we are, for the love in our hearts, for the Christ that we are together. Amen.
Amen. So we're going to get to vote in a few minutes, but before, there are a few housekeeping things that I would like to talk about. So first of all, news about the transitional minister. So we've been assigned a transitional minister. His name is Reverend Steve. And let me tell you one thing. We got assigned the best. He is a Unity Central a minister, and we met with him this past week online, virtually, and he has been wonderful. Somebody who brings the presence of Spirit, brings the unity principles alive. So everybody who was at the meeting was delighted and cannot wait until he joins us. The second surprise regarding that is that he will be able to join us at the retreat. So if you needed a little bit extra encouragement to come to the retreat, this is it. So this is a special blessing. We requested that, but he wasn't sure he wasn't going to able to do it. But he said he shifted his schedule so that he could be here with us at an important opportunity to be all together as one. And so he will start right after that. We're still figuring out where he's going to live, because that's something that we need to provide. I think we have a solution for after April, but we're still looking for a place for him during the months of April. So if you have any questions, this would be yes. Say it again. I didn't ask about pets, but I think he doesn't have any pets, and he right now lives in Missouri, but I forgot the town. Leeds Summit is where Unity is. All right. Right. He has run several marathons, but now his knees hurt, so he prefers not to go up too many stairs. So first floor is best. Okay. So now moving to another item of business. Dave, would you like to say something about the safety policy?
Good morning. The board has put together a safety policy for the church. It's been in effect for 6 or 10 months. Not very well publicized, so that's one reason I'm up here today. I just wanted to point out a couple things that's in the safety manual. We need 3 people to open, close, or attend the meeting. So we don't want anybody alone in the church by themselves. And the other was in the spiritual education center. We need 2 people. So is there any questions about that? The manual has much more than that, but I wanted to get that word out so everybody knew that. Okay, thank you.
And also some updates from the Treasury. Yep. No, we're gonna do the survey when we count the votes.
Does that work, Sherry? No, but I'm talking about PowerPoint. Okay, I'll be quick. Anybody has a great memory, back around the middle of July last year, we were really, at least some of us on the board, were saying things are really bad. Corinna and others did some prosperity praying starting around Labor Day, and we ended up the year, last year, expenses slightly less than income, about $2,000. And included in expenses were some one-time, I assume every year we have one-time expenses, so, but anyway, these are last year's one-time expenses. So there's a total of about $12,000 toward the new roof and toward the tower, which were one-time expenses, and they came out of that normal expenses. Go ahead to the next one, Sherry. Toward the end of the year, a lot of good things happened. John Fredericks is running a prosperity class. For some reason, Burning Bowl and New Year and Christmas Eve were not on Sundays, but we still got good collections on Sunday and on Burning Bowl and on Christmas Eve. We made money on Daniel Nahmad. That's probably not good words, but his event was a financial success. Joy Adler's event was a financial success. I think it was last Sunday. Garland was a financial success. So in the months of January and February at the end of last year, a lot of good things have happened. And so we're really starting out this year in good shape. One more thing. I just have one more thing to mention. I was giving a report one day, and our eagle-eyed Rob Geyer said, I found a mistake. You couldn't have gone from $30,000 to $62,000 of mail-in donations in 1 year. I'll help you find your mistake. Well, the mistake is a lot of people are going to our site and using credit cards. So you can go in there once. If you want to, you can say, I want to put X dollars a week, put it on my credit card, wash your hands, and you're all set. There's one good thing about that is money's coming into Unity Church. But a second good thing is the tellers have a lot less work to do. They don't even touch the credit cards. It goes right into our bank account. And one thing that is a lot of work for the tellers and other people is those green cards where you fill out. The tellers have to protect the information on those cards. The bookkeeper has to type it all in. So this credit card donation is really working well for Unity Church. And online, you just go to Unity, our website, and there's a way to do it. And that's all I have. Any questions? Thanks, Lois. Deborah?
It's a surprise. We are working on it, but it's a surprise. You won't. That-
Just one more financial thing. The interim minister, we're basically paying him a salary comparable to what we paid for Reverend Crystal. The board is still working on it.
That's why we're
Right,
still working
but
on it,
that's
around
the
there.
that's the ramifications. And but in addition to his salary, we have to pay rent for a place to stay because he has to. I guess the theory is he has to maintain his home back in Missouri, and still live here And so anyway, that's the kind of general idea of an interim minister. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, it goes directly to your checking account. There's also paper. I, I will ask to have this discussion on the side, because we need to continue with the meeting. Uh, all right, continue, going on. Heather, would you update us on focus?
No mistake about it. So focus. How many of you have a dim recollection that Unity Church in Albany is a member of a not-for-profit called Focus? Focus was founded 50 years ago, first by 4 churches in Albany that believe strongly in food justice. And for 50 years, Focus has been serving breakfast through something that the guests call the Breakfast Club year-round, and it's hot breakfast in the winter. Sam and I had the pleasure of cooking for them on Wednesday mornings, and then cold breakfast in the summer. Focus has grown from 4 original churches to 6 covenant churches, and then a handful of affiliates. We, Beth Emmett, the Unitarian Universalists, the Hindu Temple, St. Andrew's Episcopal, and one other church, we are the affiliates that now support their food justice program, and also there are 2 pantries which are part of their program. Focus is expanding its scope. The congregations a year ago said, we want you to keep working on food justice, but we also want to see you working on immigration, racism, and housing. These are things that we care about as a community and we want to take a stand for. So, Focus has launched at one task force at a time. It launched the immigration task force probably 6 months ago, and they've studied the issues, they've reached out to all the various organizations, and in the next month I'll be coming back to you with opportunities to volunteer if you feel called to serve the immigrant and refugee community in Albany. They're then going to be, and I can connect you to the task force if you want to be more permanently kept on their list to serve. Then I'll let you know when the next task force starts, sometime in the next 3 months, and it'll either be housing or racism, we'll see. And I think that's it. But I can't tell you how meaningful it is for Unity to be a member. We add so much in terms of our energy and in terms of the kind of community that we are. And about 4 or 5 years ago, when we did visioning, there was a clear upwelling of yearning to serve in the bigger community outside of this church. And Focus is one of the ways in which we're doing that. So if you want to have more information about how you could volunteer or be involved, come talk to me anytime. Thank you. Or Sam.
And now I would like to ask the current board to come up to the stage to be recognized. All right. So this annual meeting is one opportunity that we have as a congregation to thank the current board for the hard work they have been doing through the years. If you please join me in thanking them with an applause. I was correct. It's thank us.
And for the record, Karina, you are part of the board. So we give a special thanks to you. And from the circle of elders, I don't know how many of you know that everybody who has served on the board and been entrusted becomes automatically a member of a circle of elders. And the circle of elders wants to acknowledge the beautiful way that this entire board, each member in their own way and as a group, have watered and fed the plant that is the consciousness of this church. And as a symbolic gift, we're going to give you a couple little plants here, guys, so that when you take them, you know how grateful we are for the beautiful work you have done to grow our consciousness and your own consciousness and to keep us growing and going. Thank you.
I got them a little token to reflect what the tigers they are on behalf of unity. Now is a moment that you all been waiting for. So would the nominating committee come forward and introduce the nominees and the voting process.
Okay, good morning again. So you've kind of already guessed what the process is. If you're an active member, you can vote, and you checked your name off on the roster, and when you checked your name off on the roster, you should have gotten a ballot. So if you did not get a ballot and you checked your name off, please raise your hand. So that's the process. You checked your name off, you got a ballot. We have 4 candidates for 4 openings, which feels pretty good. Each one of the candidates will come up and tell a little bit about why they want to serve. I'm sorry? Oh, who's going off the board? Okay, Paul is going off the board. Sam is going off the board. Sally's going off the board. And Gretchen's going off the board. So their terms have expired. And we're going to now refill the board with 4 other people. Understand that? Everybody understand that? Okay. We do. That's a good point. Thank you very much, John. So if you're so inclined to want to be on the board, you can always self-nominate from the floor. So I would say if you want to do that, then those nominations are open. I guess you could do that too. Yeah, you could nominate somebody else if you probably get their permission first, I would imagine. So do anything from the floor? So we'll give it another moment or so, and I'll close those nominations from the floor. So we have 4 candidates for 4 openings, and they're each going to come up and talk a bit. We have all afternoon, but probably only a couple of minutes apiece. Oh yeah, thank you very much. So there's 4 openings on the board, 2 3-year terms, and 1 2-year term, and 1 1-year term. At the alternate, which is a 1-year term. So the right, and it's 1 year for 1 year. Yeah.
What we've been doing in these past years is to have a board consisting of 6 members and an alternate board member. You know, the alternates have been great because they do come to all the meetings. And if you ask Gretchen, you know that this year we met a lot. So, and she has been great. She took the responsibility at heart, and you know, it was like, these are big shoes to fill now. So yeah, so the person who is the alternate board member has the same responsibilities, except that officially doesn't get to vote at the meetings. But you know, it's like we are a community, we hear people. So anyway, so that position is also important, but officially is not a board member, it's an alternate board member, and the position lasts for a year.
Well said, well said. Okay, so yeah, that position is very important. They engage in all the conversations, but they have debates around the table. They participate fully, and the only thing they don't do is they can't vote. But it's a very powerful position, like all the other ones are. So it's not a lesser position at all. Okay. So we have 4 candidates. The two candidates that get the most votes will fill the 3-year terms. The candidate that gets the next less vote will get the 2-year term, and the candidate that has the least number of votes will get the alternate term. So is that everybody understand that? How that works? Okay. Everybody gets 2 votes. Please vote for 2. Right. And everybody has a ballot? Okay. Yeah, so now we're going to introduce the nominees. So the first nominee is Heather Diddell. Heather's been a member of the community for 10, 15 years, many, many years of love, many, many years of service. So welcome.
Hi, everybody. So when I was told I had to talk about myself a couple minutes, like, oh my Lord. So I guess the most important thing I just want to say is that I'm awakening to and embracing the divine essence within me and within all of you and all other beings through prayer and service. That is my daily affirmation of who I am and who I feel this board to be and this church to be. I am deeply grateful to this community. I never had a church community growing up. I grew up in New York City, and I was at what we call a hit-and-run Catholic. I had an obligation, I hit the obligation, and I ran. And then I discovered unity. And I said to Sam, oh my God, we're at church for like 5 hours on Sunday. This is so not Catholic. But what I really found is that this is home. In a way, I didn't know a church community could be a home. And one of the things I love is the statement on the back of our bulletins that says, welcome home. We are a home for anybody and everybody who wants a home. And at this time in our history and in our world, there is nothing more important than that we see that we are one with everybody, regardless of the clothes we wear or where we live or whether we went to school or who we voted for or whether we like flowers or meat to eat. I mean, we are all a family, and this place models that. Everybody is welcome here. So why the board and why now? I had an amazing board experience starting in 2008. Deborah Berger called me and said, "Would you like to run for the board?" And I said, "Me? I'm so unworthy." and that board experience changed my life because I learned what it meant to be on a board as a spiritual practice. I'm an attorney by profession, and everybody wants attorneys on their boards. It's really not fun to be an attorney on a board very often. The Unity Board is unlike any other board I've ever been on, and most of the people are called to it one way or the other. And what I learned is if we move in unity, applying unity principles and acting through discernment, opening our hearts, it's amazing what happens. It grows us and it grows everybody around us. And when I talked to Jim and I said, "I really don't think that I'm the person for your board," he said, "All you have to do is be willing to hold the consciousness of this church, to hold it and grow and hold your own." And that changed my life. I have watched this board do incredible things over the last 5 years. And really, it was only in the last couple of months that I felt this stirring inside of me, saying, "Oh, that feels like a calling to the board again. I didn't expect that." So I feel called, and I offer you my open heart and my lawyer skills, such as they are when they're useful, and the willingness to serve. I will say, someone said, talk a little bit about being a lawyer, because no one really knows what lawyers do. I am an accidental lawyer. I don't tell my clients that. But I never intended to be a lawyer. I didn't grow up knowing lawyers. My mom was from a farm in Minnesota, and my dad from the poor part of town in Indianapolis. But I used to live in the Soviet Union back in the Cold War era. And I met these unbelievable people who are members of the Jewish intelligentsia and saw the courage that they lived with when they took a stand for human rights and civil rights every day at great cost. And I said, I want to do that, and I want to do that here. And when I got to the States, a Soviet dissident said to me, "Well, in your country, Heather, you can only really do that work if you go to law school or business school." Really? So I knew I was not a business school type. But I went to law school basically because I really wanted to help serve those who took a stand for civil rights and human rights. And then the week before I started law school then at Columbia University, I went on a bike trip and I met Sam House. And that changed my life more than law school. And what I realized was I want, and I do now, I did trial law work for years, but what I really love is working with employers and employees so that they can create workplaces where people are treated with respect and where everybody thrives. And as a lawyer, I have an amazing capacity to have access to employers to say, hey, this is the law, but it's also what's best going to serve you. So I just really love doing that. And what I found on boards is I tend to be the one who's less legalistic in my thinking than non-lawyers. As Beth will tell you about the bylaws, she's much more of a lawyer with bylaws than I will ever be. But I do think that at times it's useful to have that skill, dust it off, and bring it out, so long as it's with heart. And I will tell you that unity has taught me how to be a better lawyer, because I lawyer with an open heart. And when I did a big trial one time, it was all let go and let God. So that's enough about me. I have to tell you, all 4 nominees are stepping into the big shoes that these 4 who are leaving the board were up for. Every single one of these people will be fantastic on the board, and I'm just honored to be among them and to be among those of you who are staying on board. That's it.
Okay. The next nominee is Stottie Freeman. The name may sound familiar. There's just a little bit of nepotism. So Dottie's been a member of the community for a long time, 10 or 15 years, and again, many years of love and service.
Thank you. Talk about big shoes to fill. Oh, man. So I chose not to write down anything because I am totally trusting Spirit to flow and to be here in the moment. So is there anybody here who doesn't know me at all? Okay, so I don't really need to go through the things that I've done here in terms of service. What I would like to say is that the reason that I am running for the board is because I've been called. And it's the same thing that happens to me periodically. Spirit comes through out of the blue in a way that I never would have believed, and I have an absolute knowing of what I am called to do. And the first time I was asked to be on the board, I said, absolutely not, that's not me. The second year I was asked, I said, no, I'm not ready, I need more time. Totally not feeling competent to be on the amazing boards that I had seen. The third year that they asked, I said, what is there that I'm not hearing? And what I heard was, yes, there's that place in me that does not feel worthy, but I am going to trust that Spirit is leading me, and I'm going to let go and trust that Spirit can show me how I could be useful on this board. So I surrendered, fully knowing that I wasn't going to out because there were 10 nominees that year. It was an amazing year. And when I got the call from Heather that I was on the board, I was like, what? Oh, man, now I got to step up. So I came onto that board with a sense of, I am so grateful for this church. This is my giving. Whatever I can do will be my way of showing my appreciation for what I have learned at Unity and for community. I love the idea of growing through community because we all help each other. When somebody is sitting there talking about, negativity and poor pitiful me and all that going down that road, a Unity person will shift that. A little reminder. It's like, oh yeah, that's not real. Fear has no power over me. So I served for 4 years on the board with great gratitude. This board has blown me away with the amount of work that they have done and all that they have brought new to the church. New ideas and such commitment and such difficulty with now that we have a transitional, our minister has gone and they are holding up this whole church. So I, come knowing that. When I was asked to be on the board this time, I went through this very same process. No, not mine to do. All these other people haven't, let them come forth. And I was in the middle of telling Heather all the reasons why I am not going to get on the board. Again, another Spirit experience. This wave came through me, John, like what you experienced when you were talking in your sermon today. And all of a sudden, I heard myself shift and know that the deal is I have to surrender to what Spirit wants. It's not about me. And when I heard that, it's, again, my willingness to serve comes from the place of gratitude. And so I know that even though it looks like finances is a different stuff than spirituality. Building and grounds is a different stuff. Tech stuff is different. Wrong. It's all under the same umbrella of the spirituality, the knowing, the listening, and spirit just comes through with some discernment. Once you're still, once I'm still, I know that I can trust the voice that comes through, that sometimes it's a totally new idea, and sometimes it's like, go back and be quiet again. And so I've learned that that's where I'm supposed to be, so that's why I'm here. And even though there are these great big shoes that we got to walk into, now that I have committed to surrender to Spirit, I know that whatever comes my way is where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing. So I thank you all for the nominating committee for the work that they've done and for inviting me to have this opportunity to give back to Unity. That's all I have. Thanks.
The next nominee is Carol Morris. Carol hasn't been with this community as long, 3 to 5 years thereabouts. Came up here from the Carolinas, and you'll notice she comes into the great asset to the music ministry. A huge addition to the music ministry. And she comes with this Quaker background, which works really nice here too. And so welcome, and we look forward to it.
Well, Dave, that was everything I was going to say. Hi, everybody. Boy, it's different to be standing here than to be singing over here. So I'm Carol Morris, and as Dave said, I did come up here about 3 years ago, 2017. This is not my first Unity church. This is not my first rodeo. I was active in the Unity Church of the Triangle in Raleigh, North Carolina. First came to Unity in Tulsa, Oklahoma for a year. At the time when the Quaker meeting was so tiny that it wasn't really meeting my then husband's and my needs. So, as you also know, you know that I'm one of the voices that sings up here. I feel grateful and blessed to be part of that ministry. And when there started to, like Dottie, I'm just letting Spirit flow. I tried to write down notes, and it was like, yeah, no, don't do that. I do have a Quaker background, which means that I listen at a level that might be different than maybe everybody does. And when the word started to come around about being on the board, my first concern, I work full-time and I live 50 minutes to the west of here, was time. Would I have time? And the answer was yes. Like, okay, you said that. That was my only concern. So, I'll do it. I'm very grateful. People have spoken about the work of the board. If you didn't really realize how much they were doing, that means they were doing it really well, because they were holding the space and holding this community in a way that there was very little rocking of the boat, really, if you think about it. And that just really speaks to what the previous board has been doing for longer than I realized, and probably longer than many people realize. Let's see, what else? I am my feeling about being on the board is, as others have said, is about being of service, and also of deepening my involvement with this community. And so that's the other reason that I said yes. And I'm grateful to be standing, and I'm aware of the shoes. I nudged Paul and I said, we should have had some great big shoes up here so that you could see. But I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
And the fourth nominee is Patricia Wood. Patricia's, again, relatively new to the community, 3 to 5 years thereabouts. But she brings an expertise and an energy and love that we look forward to.
afternoon. Can everybody hear me okay? In my prior public speaking, I often have people go, whoa, so just want to make sure. Anyway, thank you for the opportunity to, number one, speak to you and also to be considered for potential leadership in this wonderful church. I have been attending the last few years, and I've been sort of like one of the background people. I have offered services, volunteer. My background has been in nonprofits. I started out many years ago as the PR person for the American Red Cross during the AIDS crisis. I've done human service, PR, media relations, marketing, that type of thing. And my last gig, which ended this past June, so I'm a happy gay retiree, shall we say, I ended 31 years from the New York State Bar Association, where I was the senior director of membership and other sundry nonprofit things. It's been a joy to be part of the Unity community. My partner Carol and I were helping Reverend Crystal with her Leaving Albany adventures, and we were there yesterday and helping out as we could. And she came, gave me a nice hug, and she said, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that you're stepping up because I know that you can do good things for this church. And I said, thank you. And well, you're not going to get many votes because people don't know you. So I said, that's okay. I don't care. I am here to be of service. When I have thought and prayed and meditated about what I would like to do for our community, the image of strengthening its bones kept coming to me. I cannot speak nearly as eloquently as my colleagues can about the beauty, the spirit, the love that you've derived over these decades. What I can tell you, though, is I can give you a fresh approach. I'm very, very good at asking questions. Even in high school, one of my teachers nicknamed me Pat. Yes, but no wood. I never had a problem making decisions, but I always insisted on, we thought about this. So, again, I look at the fact that we, again, are a wonderful, wonderful church. But we are a church, an organization only has limited resources. You have limited finances, you have limited manpower, people power, paid staff, volunteers. So what I would really like to do in working with all of you, I'd like to, number one, see double the number of members here next year at the same time. But I'd like to see greater diversity and inclusion. I'd like to see more families. And really to be really representative of the love, the beauty of this area, because there's so much of it, and we are just really, really just going to be part of it, but it's really the beginning. So I would really like to look forward to working with my colleagues on the board, with our staff, with our future ministry as far as that goes, and most importantly, you and just getting you out there, you speaking to us, talking to us, telling us what is it you want, but also please raise your hand and please get involved. Please keep those contributions coming because that is the only way that we are ever going to really, really succeed here. So I look forward to working with you all, and I thank you so much. Be well.
So 4 really good candidates. Thank you all for speaking. So we'll begin the vote, but I think maybe John, would you like to give a little prayer to get us started?
I'll use this. 4. I try really hard on number 4. So let's just get quiet, because this is not a political animal. This is not a political election. This is a discernment of spirit working through us to manifest the highest and best good for all. In my understanding, as having been on the board for 8 years and president twice, there's 3 qualities that need to be in a Unity Church metaphysical Christian board member. And the lowest of the 3 is commitment to do the work. And to be there. That's important, but that's the least thing. The next thing is a capacity, skills and talents to bring to bear on the church's functioning. Also important, but secondary. The most important thing, and in some ways the only thing, you can put the other two away, is a consciousness. A consciousness of spirit, a consciousness of unity metaphysical principles, and an ability to live those principles in all our affairs, in all our church affairs, in all our personal affairs. So we go deeply into spirit before we mark our ballots, and we look for that consciousness that knows that there is no limit in any area. There is no limit in God. And to shine that truth onto the affairs of the church. So that's the truth that guides all the decisions. That's the truth that guides the day-to-day. We thank Mother, Father, God for the consciousness of the people who have come before us, that birthed this church into being, the consciousness that grew this church and moved it into a home, a permanent home, the consciousness that sustained it through some storms, the consciousness that brought us out the other side to see the rainbow. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for commitment and capacity, but most of all, for a consciousness that admits you into our day-to-day lives. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. So it is. Amen.
So this is a time in which the whole congregation is voting for two of the nominees. Those of you who are voting virtually through YouTube, this is the time. This is the time to send your vote online. We're voting for two persons. Yes. So you need to check two people in those ballots. And if you're online, send the names of two people. So as the votes are collected, the nominating committee is going to go on the side and count the votes. As we are doing that, we're going to show you the results of the whole community survey that we did a while back that we couldn't show you in earlier town hall meetings. So there were a couple of changes in our congregation since then. So some of the things pertaining Reverend Crystal have been removed Not everything, but some. No coming up? So this whole community survey was a change that was promoted by Unity Central, so that it brings more the consciousness really that we are the church. So the evaluation is not only about the minister and the board, it's about us and how we are within the community as well. Let's see. This is the evaluation of the Sunday services, and you see that overall we are mostly happy. You will see the numbers change. Sometimes it's 37 people that have responded, sometimes it's 32. So know that not that when there are things missing, it means that the person that did not cast the votes is selecting does not apply. Right? So over here we have people seem to be very happy with how things are going overall. They were happy with Reverend Crystal, and they're happy with the board. So it's like I like to see pictures. Sorry, the board is next. With Reverend Roger. They're very happy with Roger. By the way, it's hard to, it would take me too much time to put everything in one single scale. So I copied it from the survey online that gave me this thing. No, but you need to notice this. See, the scale for Roger, it goes all the way up to 30. So that means that people are really, really, really happy with Roger.
Just in my experience with the ones, sometimes people get it backwards, the scale, and they think they're voting highest when they're really voting lowest. That just happens.
There was a description next to the one and next to the twos. So anyway, sometimes it is what it is. So they're pretty happy with the Board of Trustees, and it looks like a little bit more self-critical. Right? Like the whole thinking of the congregation is that we could do a little bit better. And here are some comments from the congregation. So very positive comments regarding the music and the programs and meditations. Again, music is wonderful. The sermons are inspiring. We had to make it short here. There were a lot of comments that the people were very happy with Krista's sermons. A few comments that people don't like so much the guests that we've been bringing, but we really love Crystal and Roger. The impact of Sunday services is that brings joy and that they are inspiring, and people leave the church happy. And the sermons, criticism here, at times should be shorter and more concise after less rambling, and a desire for more metaphysical messages with spiritual power. And there is where you're going to be very happy when we meet the transitional minister. Disappointing that few children attend. This is a constant challenge. And we're working on technology, right, Sherry? Next. This is about communication. How good are we communicating, well, if it is the reverend or the board with the congregation, and the congregation also, how is letting the concerns know and so forth. So Crystal is doing, Reverend Crystal was doing fairly well, and so did the first one is the overall. So they're mostly happy, but there are a little bit room for improvement. And you see that they're pretty happy with Reverend Crystal, and so with the board as well. A little bit more critical with ourselves in expressing what we would like and what we need, and be a little bit more involved. Next. How would you like to be communicated with? So we see that the people in majority like the Sunday announcements and the newsletter. And then second to that is information put on the website and information shared during town halls. And apparently we are not the young generation because we don't favor as much Facebook and Twitter and emails. We like it in person, yeah. So people love the bulletins. By the way, at that time we were decreasing the number of bulletins, and here the congregation let us know, no. We need more bulletins again. We love the announcement. What we are doing now with the announcements are before we settle the sacred space for the Sunday services. We're grateful for emails and enjoy being together in the fellowship hall after service. Disappointed that people, we had a lot of activities, and after service there are a lot of committee many times, and people run into that, and the rest that don't go there feel that they would have liked to interact with them. And yeah. So I don't know how to help in there, but this is sometimes the solution doesn't necessarily have to come from the board. This is about you too. So how can we do this better? They can join the committees, but also there is usually a gap of an hour, and this is a theme that comes in later, that some people, especially new people, say, well, nobody really made an effort to connect with me. So this is something that we can all work together and try to reach out more to people that, it feels it's always easy to talk to your friends, but how about stretching it, and making an effort to stretch to people that you have never talked with? Communication, communication with new members, engage new members. Service participate greatly lacking. So this is appearing in several places that new members. Oh, it's badly written, sorry. But the idea is what I've been saying, that the new members want to be engaged more. Ministry is wonderful with one-on-one communication, often lacks response to phone, emails, etc. Need to reach out more to the greater community. So this was more about doing things with the outside community. That's I shortening it out to that. And engage in fundraising. That was the same person who wrote that. The suggestion was like, if we do a unity fair, that's a way of reaching out the community and doing a fundraiser as well. How about empowering and building community? So overall, when you see it for yourself, it's decent. With Crystal as well, most of it is on the positive side, and so is the board. Me, not so much. So again, room for improvement for how we are engaging with the community. And the question was, what kind of activities do you like to be engaged with? And you see that you really like the small groups, and this surprised me. People like the fall and spring cleanups. There we go. But that one was number one. It is, definitely. Right. So please come and enjoy the company. And the town halls were very popular, and not so much the other stuff. But, only 37 people responded to the community. We are larger than that, so this is just one viewpoint. Next. So we have an amazing, powerful community of people. We love the retreats, the workshops, and serving in church communities or the choir. Roger Service, speak to me. Would like more opportunities to connect with like-minded people, more classes, special events, Bible study. Means having more classes. We like Bible study and other religions. Spiritual views from other religions, right? Having sign-up sheets, which we do on the Bradford entrance. Teacher and participant contact information would be helpful for classes. So this is something, again, about connecting, having ways of connecting with people. In particular, if you're going to take a class, how do you reach the person who is leading the class? Anyway, that's what that was. Scheduling town hall, annual meetings on days aside from Sundays. So people sometimes work on Sundays. So that's what this request is about. And the next one is, some people would like to serve as platform assistants. So usually we have the board and elders come up to the platform to be platform assistant members. On occasion, we have had some other people do that, but that's something, if that is your interest, you really need to talk to the board or the elders about that. Pastoral care, overall we're doing fine. Reverend Crystal was doing well. The board actually was very generous, because I'm not sure if people know whether board members do this. So, and me in the spiritual community, again, room for improvement. Next. Pastoral care commentary. So we have been hearing this at the town hall from Jordan, that if he would like really to restart Unity Care, which is a wonderful service, but it really needs a commitment for the larger part of the community to make that successful. If you're interested in that, please contact Jordan. If pastoral counseling is encouraged, perhaps that should be mentioned once in a while. So I was surprised that people didn't know that that's available, so we should do that. Yeah. Grateful for guidance and support from prayer chaplains. That is working very well in the community. So let's give a hand to all the prayer chaplains right now. And again, a big thanks for all the people who are involved in the prayer ministry. You don't see them, but it's a lot of you that are sitting here in the pews. A big thanks for you as well. And again, the theme of more outreach. Spiritual development and education. Well, Reverend Kristen was doing very well in here, and the board supporting the youth ministry. And me in the spiritual community, it's really hard to be in here, but there's a lot of people who were volunteering for the youth and ministry service. So perhaps we should give them an applause as well. Next. Good idea. Oh, we don't have to vote again. Would you like to?
Okay. So the 2 3-year terms go to Heather and Dottie. And the 2-year term goes to Pat Wood. And the alternate, but still very important, goes to Caroline.
So please don't leave, because we still need to do a few things. But I don't remember where we are in the file, but I would like to, halfway through, but we would like to acknowledge the new members and we need to elect a member for the nominating committee before we leave. So let's move through. Spiritual development and education. Some classes more engaging than others, so this is about all the classes that we have. Some criticism about how the classes were organized, or some of the classes. But there's a need for more spiritual power and understanding with relevance, and again, the unity principles that we would like to see more as part of the classes. More days, and children's program too low. Again, the youth and education, similar results. Some criticism that we do a lot of efforts and not enough children, but this is in the hands of God, right? But we're doing our best. buildings and grounds. So people are really happy with the way we are keeping the church and the updates that we are having regularly. So thank you, buildings and grounds. And Danny, yes, he's a big part of that. How often do you participate? You see it by yourself. Well, a lot of people don't participate in the fall and spring, but they really like it. How often do you join hospitality services? So most of people are engaged in one way or another in hospitality. And this is about how often you help set up and clean up and so forth. So no, there is a group of people that are the heart of the hospitality, and they're always there supporting the ministry. But as you saw, not many. Right. So what is going well? The sense of one spiritual community dedicated to the church well-being is growing, and it feels very good. Love the music, love finding people that are passionate about spiritual growth, the community, and the music and positive message. The spiritual growth opportunities, classes and being involved with the music. I love Sunday service with Reverend Crystal and Roger in charge, as opposed to guests. I enjoy listening online, so what we do online matters. And I love the music, the message, the love. One thing that we could do better to support you. I feel supported, thank you very much. I like to be inspired. Continue excellent spiritual offerings. More volunteers are needed, and you have heard, we need volunteers in several areas. So if you feel called to serve the unity, please come and ask the board. I like to be more involved in music, do single event or worship with the ministers, reach out to me, minister available after services, provide a deeper spiritual message, help me network. Small groups whose members do lives together. That keeps coming up often in the visioning as well. Hold me in prayer. So people are very thankful for that as well, but they still need more. Service on time, and gluten-free food. One thing you would like to see change at Unity: more financial giving from the congregation. And by the way, we've been doing very well this year with the prosperity class. A lot of people participating on that. We would like to continue seeing on a permanent basis. Let congregation know that leadership tithes. And let me tell you, this board, this exiting board, has been a tithing board. I don't go into the office looking at what number is on their checks, but I can tell you, if the commitment and the time they have put into working with the board is a reflection of that, they are more than tithing to this church. So there is we need to do a little bit better about the budgets and the minutes. So we're going to be paying more attention into that. Do outreach to the surrounding community, showcase the vast amount of talent that is here at Unity. New member process, there needs to be a personal connection made. I think a lot of us are trying, and I think I see you reaching out to new people, and it's lovely to see. I think we need to see more new faces. I would like more Friday, Saturday evening events. And don't refer to absent unimagined children, and don't bring kids up in front each week. So that part of our service, people feel strongly one way or another. But we'll see how it develops as we go through the transition. More. Minister to attend the hospitality fellowship after service and interact with members. There's a big call for this center to have a stronger presence within the capital region as a spiritual center. Right? And this is something that we all build together. A formal hands-on healing circle, interested in alternative interpretations of the Bible. Again, the theme of the world views from other spiritual traditions. Some people were interested in going back to old hymns and more traditional ways. Label rooms better. Persons in library needs to be more friendly. Organization, communication, and passionate leadership. Well, I think, as thanks for your vote, we now got it, right? And we got it before too, because I tell you, the board that we just ended also was very passionate about the work we've been doing. Reach more people involved in service, reach out to younger members, action plans for the visions we say we want. We need, actually, for that, we have some action plans, but we need more of the community to put their energy behind them. I like the idea of creating a comfort room for caregivers for young children, but the dividers right now are too lightweight, etc. So we're working on that as we go. Oh, I miss the old time. Oh, this is where I was saying before. The church was always packed. It was truly a holy space. It was so powerful. Meditation never had someone speaking through. There was just beautiful, quiet music. Be more traditional, and I'll be there. Let church be a place of refuge from that. Bring back God. So this is a different person than that you have seen before. But again, that theme that we really need to be a spiritual center. There is a huge hunger for that. So as this is the opportunity that we have now, and we're going to transition to really step into that role. Too much time is spent at the beginning on messaging, so we hear you. A way to let others in the congregation know that you need help. We love that. And we do need help, especially in volunteering in the several ministries. And and this is a recommendation for the ushers so that we have more people and not to burden one person. So that we rotate through people who do the service. This is about who are we? Are you? I think I could put this thing available. We could talk with Roger to make this available so you can see it online and take time with it. But you have a first glance with who we are and so forth. I think we covered the most interesting part. Additional comments. Everyone is working so hard. I appreciate all the people that love unity and make it a great place to worship and come for community. Best place for heart-centered living. Reverend Crystal consistently provides excellent Sunday messages. Reverend Roger provides the best music ministry on the planet. Need to learn to take it in, Roger. The members of the Board of Trustees are an amazing heart center, so thoughtful and collaborative team that works incredibly hard. Thank you, guys. I mean, the person who said that, thank you. We are the best kept secret in Albany. We should not be. We should be overflowing with people who need to hear our message. I have faith in unity in Albany and the leadership that any wrinkles can be ironed out using practical spiritual principles. Love unity. I truly love and appreciate unity. Okay, more love. I would like to know, more love. Thank you. And love more. Great metaphysical church. I think we've covered enough, right? Yeah. I think we need to find out why men are less in number at services, and if there is anything to be done to attract and bring them back. So yeah, in the demographics, it was about 1/3 men, 2/3 women. Okay, now this picture here is the word clouds that were created with your answers to our questions about we have 4 questions about developing who we are. I mean, our values, to draw out the values. So this is what we are as a community. We're going to be working more on this as we go through the transitional ministry, but we have a great place to start from. And that's it. Thank you. I think I would like the new members, the board members to come to the front, right? And to have the elders come through.
Hi, I'm Dennis Ryan. I'm the leader of the prayer team and other things. When I was young, I learned not to trust adults. Then I became one. Now I'm not only adult, but considered an elder. No, it's not necessary. I just want to recognize everyone who's helped to make this community. I want to welcome the new members. And I want to thank the members of the board, the outgoing members of the board, and the continuing members of the board for all that they do to make this the community that it is. I'm grateful to find out that Heather and I are fellow alum to the Ram. And I want to thank Sam for the building. It looks great. I have an alternative ministry that I perform on Saturdays, and I miss getting together with the cleanup crew. I'll thank more people tomorrow when I see them at class, but the people who are here, I want to say thank you. As a member of the Finance Committee, I was the treasurer for nearly 8 years, and as a member of the Finance Committee, I've worked with the Finance Committee chaired by Rob Geyer, and with Sherry, with Paul, and with Pat Wood. And I want to recognize Paul for 4 consecutive years of improving financial stewardship here at Unity Church. It was me at prior town halls playing the role of the gadfly who pointed out, yes, that's one of the hats that I wear, who pointed out areas where bookkeeping could be tightened up, where stewardship could be tightened up, and Paul rose to the occasion for 4 consecutive years, and I want to give my personal thank you. I've worked with Reverend Crystal and the late Jane Bloom on adult education lately, and on various prayer ministries. Now that we have an administrative assistant in place, now that we have a new bookkeeper, and now that we are about to have a minister who will set the course of the next ministry here, which we will commit ourselves to his ministry and his view of ministry, I promise that we will evaluate certain parts of the prayer program that may have lapsed. But now that we have an administrator who can help us with communication, I think all those things will come together. But thank every one of you for all you've done to make this the place that it is. And Trudy, we've been in this building. We've been in this building 24 years. So the children's ministry, separate and outside of the sanctuary, is 24 years old. And Trudy has been in charge of that most of the time. Some time off for good behavior. You're all wonderful people. It's been a pleasure working with you. And I may be on the slowest track ever to study for credits toward licensed Unity teacher, but it prevents me from joining you on the board. So I'll just say 8 years was enough, at least for me.